In 2018, Elon Musk sent an email to every Tesla employee at 2:30 in the morning. Not unusual for him. He routinely sleeps 6 hours, sometimes 4. He has publicly said he works 120-hour weeks. He has slept on the factory floor. He has missed his own children's birthdays. He has described sleep as a necessary evil that he resents because it steals time from work. And every year, millions of students read that and think, that is the blueprint. Late nights, grind culture, 4 hours of sleep and a Red Bull. If Elon can build Tesla and SpaceX on 6 hours, surely you can pass your chemistry exam on 5. Here is what nobody tells you. In 2019, Musk himself admitted on the record, "I've made some of my worst business decisions when I was most sleep-deprived." The same year, a Tesla board member told the Wall Street Journal that Musk's exhaustion during the Model 3 production crisis was visibly affecting his decision-making, his mood, and his ability to process information. The man who built the blueprint was simultaneously warning you not to follow it. Dr. Matthew Walker, neuroscientist at UC Berkeley and author of the most comprehensive sleep research study ever conducted, spent 20 years studying what sleep deprivation actually does to a learning brain. His finding is the grand payoff of this entire video. It is sitting at the end. But the hook is this single sentence he published in 2017. The shorter your sleep, the shorter your life, and the worse your exam. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why sleep is not rest. It is the actual mechanism of learning. And you will walk away with a 4-part sleep protocol used by Olympic athletes and Special Forces units, redesigned specifically for students, that will change what happens inside your brain every single night. Section 1. What sleep actually is. Most students think sleep is the absence of studying. It is not. Sleep is where studying happens. Here is what your brain does the moment you fall asleep, and why skipping it is not saving time. It is destroying the time you already spent. During the day, your neurons fire. You read a chapter. You attend a lecture. You solve a problem. Every experience creates a temporary connection between neurons, fragile, unstable, held together by electrical charge. Like writing in wet sand, it exists, but one wave and it is gone. Sleep is the wave that decides what stays. During deep sleep, your brain replays every significant experience from the day, compressing it, connecting it to existing knowledge, and transferring it from short-term hippocampal storage into long-term cortical memory. Dr. Walker calls this process memory consolidation. It does not happen during studying. It does not happen during review. It happens only during sleep. Specifically during the slow wave and REM cycles that your brain cycles through across a full 8-hour night. Here is the study that should end the debate permanently. In 2003, researchers at Harvard Medical School took 2 groups of students learning a complex motor skill. Both groups practiced for the same amount of time. Group 1 slept 8 hours before being tested. Group 2 stayed awake and were tested after the same time interval. The sleeping group performed 20% better, not slightly better, not marginally better, 20%, the difference between a B and an A, on the exact same material with the exact same practice. The students who slept did not study more, they consolidated more. The ones who stayed awake studied into a brain that had no mechanism to store what they were putting in. Here is the payoff that links to everything that follows. Every hour you sacrifice to study past midnight is not an extra hour of learning. It is an hour of writing in wet sand, seconds before the tide comes in. Section 2. What sleep deprivation does to a student brain. Elon Musk runs a company. You are building a brain. Those are not the same task. And the stakes of sleep deprivation are radically different depending on which one you are doing. Here is what actually happens inside your skull after one night of less than 6 hours of sleep. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, planning, pattern recognition, and sustained concentration, begins to shut down non-essential processes. Not metaphorically, literally. Blood flow reduces, neuron firing slows. The brain begins operating in emergency conservation mode. Dr. Walker's research at Berkeley showed that a single night of 6 hours of sleep, not 4, not pulling an all-nighter, just 6, reduces your cognitive performance by 30%. Your reaction time, memory retrieval, creative problem solving, and ability to make connections between concepts all drop by almost a third. Now here is the part that should genuinely frighten you. The students who slept 6 hours every night for 2 weeks consistently performed at the same cognitive level as students who had been awake for 24 hours straight. But, and this is the critical finding, the 6-hour group did not feel impaired. They rated their own performance as fine. They had no subjective awareness that their brain was functioning at the level of someone who had not slept in a full day. You cannot feel your own cognitive decline. You feel tired. You do not feel stupid. But you are performing stupid, and you are doing it while believing you are fine. Elon Musk has an army of executives, advisors, and redundant decision-making systems to catch his sleep-deprived mistakes. You have one brain, one exam, one shot at the paper in front of you. When your prefrontal cortex goes offline at 9 a.m. in the exam hall, nobody is covering for you. The payoff. The late-night grind does not make you Elon Musk. It makes you a version of yourself that cannot access what you already know. Section 3, the first method, the consolidation window. Now here is where this changes from a warning into a weapon. If sleep is where memory consolidates, then the timing of what you study and when you sleep relative to it is more important than how many hours you study. This is the insight that elite performers figured out and students never get told. A 2014 study at the University of Notre Dame divided students into 2 groups. Both groups studied identical material for identical amounts of time. Group 1 studied in the morning and was tested 12 hours later after a full day of wakefulness. Group 2 studied at night and slept within 90 minutes of finishing. Both groups were tested after the same 12-hour interval. The group that slept after studying retained 44% more information, not because they studied differently, because they gave their brain the consolidation window, the 90-minute period of sleep that follows study, during which the hippocampus replays and transfers the day's learning. The morning group studied into a brain that had 12 hours of new sensory input between the learning and the sleep. The consolidation had to compete with everything else that happened. The night group gave the brain a clean transfer window. Your version of this is immediate and costs nothing. Identify the 2 hardest concepts on your current syllabus. Study them last, within 90 minutes of sleep. Not your email, not your phone, not YouTube. The concept, then darkness. Let the brain do the transfer in silence. This is called sleep scheduling your hardest material. Olympic athletes call it cognitive periodization. You can call it whatever you want. It produces 44% better retention on the same material with the same study time. The payoff here connects directly back to Section 1. You cannot stop the wet sand from being washed away, but you can choose to sleep immediately after writing in it, before the tide comes. Section 4. The second method, the Nader protocol. In 2000, neuroscientist Kareem Nader at McGill University made a discovery that rewrote the textbooks on memory. He found that every time a memory is recalled, it becomes temporarily unstable, vulnerable to being overwritten, strengthened, or distorted. He called this reconsolidation. Every memory, every time you retrieve it, is briefly held in wet sand again, then restored, either stronger or weaker than before, depending on what happens in the next 6 hours. This means sleep after retrieval practice is doubly powerful. You are not just consolidating the original learning, you are reconsolidating a stronger version of it. Stanford sleep researcher Dr. Robert Stickgold built on Nader's discovery and found a specific protocol that maximizes this effect. He called it the retrieval sleep cycle. It has 4 steps. Step 1. Study the concept actively. No passive reading. Retrieve it from memory. Write it down from scratch without looking. Teach it to yourself out loud. Step 2. Identify what you got wrong. This is the Fehlerkultur principle from German engineering. The mistake is the data. Step 3. Restudy only the gaps, not the whole concept, just what your brain failed to retrieve. Step 4. Sleep within 90 minutes. During sleep, the brain will reconsolidate the corrected version of the memory, not the original weak version, not the wrong version, but the repaired, gap-filled version. The mistake, processed through sleep, becomes stronger than correct knowledge that was never tested. Stanford's Dr. Stickgold found that students using this 4-step cycle before sleep retained 62% more information 1 week later than students who studied the same material without the retrieval sleep sequence. Your version. Tonight, before sleep, close every book. Write down everything you remember about your hardest subject from scratch. Check what you missed. Restudy only the gaps. Then sleep. Do not check your phone. Do not watch one episode. Give the brain the clean consolidation window. The payoff. You are not studying more. You are using the time your brain was always going to spend sleeping and turning it into a learning system that runs while you are unconscious. Remember the sentence from the intro, Dr. Matthew Walker. The shorter your sleep, the shorter your life, and the worse your exam. Here is the full finding that sentence came from. Walker's 20-year study tracked the cognitive trajectories of thousands of students, athletes, executives, and military personnel. The consistent finding across every demographic, every age group, every performance domain was this. The people who protected their sleep did not just perform better on individual tasks, they compounded better. Every night of full sleep made the next day's learning more efficient. Every consolidation window made the next study session more productive. The gains did not add, they multiplied. The students who pulled all-nighters were not behind by one night's learning. They were behind by the compounding effect of every disrupted consolidation cycle. Every memory that did not transfer, every gap that did not close, every mistake that was never reconsolidated into strength. Elon Musk is not building a brain. He built one decades ago on a foundation of adequate sleep in his youth. He is now spending it down. He can afford to. He has already become what he is. You are in the process of becoming. And what you become is built, brick by brick, night by night, in the slow-wave sleep cycles between midnight and 8 a.m. that you are currently sacrificing to revision notes you will not remember by Thursday. Walker's final conclusion, published in Why We Sleep, the single most powerful cognitive performance-enhancing tool available to any human being on Earth, costs nothing, has 0 side effects, and is available to every student in every country every single night. It is 8 hours of sleep, and you have been treating it like a weakness.